Hello, you're right, and welcome back to another art lesson with Mr. Dalby. What I'm going to talk about to you today is I'm going to talk about creating yourself a plan for your illustration. Now, what you should have done last week, as well as doing a mind map, you should have also printed out the extract, or well, you don't need to write it out, but as long as what you'll need to do really is identify the characters that are going to appear in your story. So I've got the extract from The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe here, and what I've done, as you can see, I've highlighted where I've got my characters. So I've got Mr. Beaver, Peter, Susan, Aslan and Lucy. Now I've also, in my extract, I've also highlighted in a different colour part of an action that's happening that I found quite interesting, that I think that I'm going to be part of. It's going to be part of the illustration. Now, before I begin my plan, I drew some character designs as well. Now, I've done my character designs in the style, it's a slight change, I'm doing them in the style of Jim Field. Now, with Jim Field, luckily Jim Field has already actually drawn a lion, and we all know that Aslan is a lion, so I've pretty much almost copied his line exactly. So it's basically still linking that style in. So I've got the style for Aslan, so there's my character design for Aslan. So this would help you. Now, I've not formally told you to do this in the lesson, but it would be a good idea to do some quick character sketches of the characters that are going to be in your illustration, so you can then include them in your actual final illustration. I've also got the character design for my Mr. Beaver, my two and my Peter, Susan and Lucy. So I've got those characters. So I think, you know, that's basically where I'm going to be looking at every time I go back to when I'm actually planning my composition. Now, for this plan of this composition, this is just a rough plan. So essentially, we don't want lots of detail. We're just sort of where we want to position the characters and so on. So in my story, what I've got here, basically what it is from this extract. If you are doing this one, you can use my illustration to help you. Ideally, I want you to really kind of do your own, but it is a difficult task, so, you know, so you do what you best you can do. So I think what I'll do is, just to start off with, I'm going to just draw a square. Now, what I want to do with this, I'm going to do a rectangle. So I think the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it in a portrait orientation. So I'm just going to actually draw my rectangle, which symbolises my A4 piece of paper. Okay, so that's going to be my A4 paper. Now, what I might write around the outside here, I might write around some different notes. So basically, I know. I'm not going to add colour to this. This is purely just to sort of play around with composition. Now, in this story, in this part of the story, basically you've got the three characters, or all three characters, going up to see Aslan. So I am, and there's Peter here, and he raises his sword as a kind of salute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it from the point of view of Aslan. So I'm going to just start drawing. I will speed this up in times, but basically this is a rough composition of your final illustration that you're going to be doing next week. Okay. And remember, you don't have to do Jim Field, you can do Tim Burton if you want to, but I thought, I've done a lot of Tim Burton, so I think we'll have a look at Jim Field. So this is my rough composition. You can see it didn't take me particularly very long. I've got here, it illustrates the part of that extract, because I've got the lion, I've got Aslan, and they're going up to Aslan, and there's Peter here, and he is saluting Aslan. But you can see there's not too much detail. I haven't got any colour, purely just playing around with the composition. If you're looking at it as well, I've tried to get it so that it's in thirds. So I've got Aslan in the middle, of the, so he's almost like the main focal point. But then I've got Peter here, the main action that he's doing of saluting is in line with that, so it kind of balances it up. I've also got the majority of the characters. I've divided it up into thirds. So I've got here these characters are in the bottom third. I've got Aslan and his expression on his face, and then I've got that in the top, and his eyes in the top third. So that is that really. You know, it's over to you really. There is my composition. What I might do, I might write some notes around the outside. For example, you know, we can maybe highlighting the fact what certain parts are going to be. You know, obviously I've got Mr. and Mrs. Beaver here as well. I haven't really spoken too much about those, but you know, those designs really helped me, really impacted and helped me with my composition. So if you do this first, this becomes a lot easier. Okay, there you go. Then I will leave it over to you, and good luck. Have fun. Bye bye.